If you think the American two-party system is dysfunctional, then you're in the right place. Good morning, and welcome to Coffee with Art. Every weekday morning, I try to do a little video to encourage discussion. And specifically, I hate the two-party arguments. I hate the two parties. They're tearing the country apart. So I call them the Demorats and the Republicans. No, I have zero respect for them. They're tearing apart our country. So that's the real crux of the whole thing is we need to get people out of the trenches of the two-party system and the two-party warfare. So if you've been following me at all, this is what we've been talking about. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to show this every time. We got to get rid of the two-party system. It's counterproductive, it's dysfunctional, and it's time is over as far as I'm concerned. That's why I wrote this book, Political Cocaine, How America Got Hooked on the Two-Party System and How to Intervene. So I really hope you'll consider that. And in the last few days, we've been talking about the human brain. This is interior and exterior, basically trying to explain the fundamentals of how the cells interact all over the brain, in general, how it works. Because a lot of people have no idea. Now, I don't claim to be a doctor, but hopefully if you checked out the previous few Coffee with Art segments, if you had no background in brain science, hopefully I gave you a little clue as to what to look for and in general how it works, so that you'll have more of an understanding and will choose to go out and find more information for yourself. Don't just take my word for it. Check it out for yourself. See, that's what political parties never tell you, because they want you to follow their program. They want you to take a little slice of the truth. It doesn't make any difference if you're, a Democrat or a Republican. The method is the same. We take the part of the truth that supports our point of view, and then we run with it. So one of the things that was talked about was this understanding of how the cells work. And then you can take where this general understanding, hopefully, of how the neurons interact. And the big thing was the space in between the cells that wasn't even discovered until a relatively short period of time ago in our history, called the synapse. It's a very small space, but there's some amazing chemistry that goes on in there. And so I hope you'll learn some more about that. It's absolutely incredible. Over 500 different types of neurotransmitters have to go across that little space before any messages get anywhere. And by far the most effective are the endorphins, the endogenous opiates. People, you have drugs already in your brain. They are meant to reward you for behavior that's going to keep you alive, and because that's true in all of us, collectively the species alive. This is our primary method of defense as a species. And so I'd really like you to think about that as you go through your day-to-day life. Your brain is taking in the facts that it believes to be important, and that's what you're going to remember. And that's why when you took certain subjects in school, regardless of what it was, for some of you at least, you didn't like some of those subjects. They weren't important to you, and so spending time in that classroom and having to learn that crap was a very difficult thing. However, you also probably had things that you liked to learn, because brains love to learn. And it's too bad that we don't really reinforce that more when we're in school. But that's not the point of this video. The point is, political power in our country was not granted to the political parties in the Constitution or anywhere by law. It's all in here. However, because they've been allowed to be in power, because they've been allowed to run our government for us, they've changed some of the rules in their behalf. And that's what we need to have a discussion about. And then we don't have to be involved in the partisan wrangling. because it affects both parties. And that's the other thing that, as a teacher, I think about a lot. I always felt like my job was to help develop my students' brains so that they had tools for thinking. And the biggest thing for me was always problem solving. I was always trying to figure out how to encourage my students to learn how to solve problems, and dealt with that in all of the classes that I taught, because to me that's the most important. Um, because if people can solve problems, they can figure out stuff for themselves. What's more important than that? And yet, that is very much minimized in today's society. So that's why I want to have discussion, have people talk about it. But really, addiction is what happens to all of us in reality. We get addicted to the things that will stimulate our endogenous opiates, make us feel good, and make us feel like we are progressing in some way. That's the effect of these various neurotransmitters in the various areas of the brain, to make it short. And when we're short of those, then we have problems with depression, anxiety, various other issues that people are dealing with, and it's all in the brain. The biggest thing I hate about the two-party system, though, as a teacher, as I was saying, is the brain drain. Just think about it from my perspective for a second, and then I hope you'll discuss it. If we're trying to encourage our best and brightest young people to get into public service, first of all, why would they do it when they have to wait 40 years for an office to open up? Limitation of terms, to me, is absolutely essential for that. But elimination of the parties is even more so. Okay, so you've got a young person who has the most amazing brain ever, who can figure out things and is going to be a fantastic leader. But what happens? With a two-party system, they have to jump into one trench or the other. Now that brain's activities are all designed to kill who's in that other trench. It's not the activity of that brain is not towards moving the country forward. Oh, yeah, of course, our party is the only one that moves the country forward, so we got to be in the trench. No, it's a brain drain. The effect is you're spending all your time shooting at that other trench. If something actually happens to move the country forward, it's by accident. Well, not that. I'm trying to make a point, so I hope you'll discuss it. I hope you have a great day today. Remember, every day is a gift. I hope in this week's broadcasts, they're not broadcasts, I hope you've learned something about the human brain and how marvelous your brain is. So open up your brain to the marvelous experiences you'll be shown today. Remember that every day is a gift. So that's why they call it the present. And unwrap that present carefully, because there's good stuff in there for you today. I hope you have a fantastic day, a great discussion, and take a whack out of that two-party tree.